Hey there everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing the Doctor Ratio build, including relics, light cones, and the best possible team compositions. As he will be a free 5-star character, if you don't have an imaginary character or if you lack DPS, you should definitely consider building him. Before we start, let's take a look at his kit. His basic attack deals imaginary damage up to 130% of his attack to a single enemy. His skill, Intellectual Midwifery, deals imaginary damage up to 150% of his attack to a single enemy. Moving on to his ultimate, Syllogistic Paradox, it deals imaginary damage up to 240% of his attack to a single enemy and marks them. The attack of allies on the marked enemy will trigger follow-up attacks from Dr. Ratio's talent up to 2 times. The most important part of his kit is his talent. Dr. Ratio has a 40% fixed chance to launch a follow-up attack when he uses his skill. Follow-up attacks triggered by his talent will also deal imaginary damage up to 270% of his attack. The fixed chance increases by 20% for each debuff placed on the enemy. If the target is defeated before the follow-up attack is triggered, the follow-up attack is moved to a random enemy. Dr. Ratio's kit is heavily follow-up attack specific, and the number of follow-up attacks increases based on the debuffs applied to the enemies. This is why you need to apply as many debuffs as you can before he can take his turn and use his skill. More debuffs mean more damage. He's got a decent damage package, but you gotta have the right relics to really get the most out of him. Basically, his kit is all about his follow-up damage. With the 4-piece, the Ash Blazing Great Duke, you can keep buffing him for more follow-up damage, so he'll be doing more damage per cycle. You can also get the 4-piece Wastelander, the Banditry Desert, for an extra boost in damage. It also adds crit rate and crit damage based on how debuffed enemies are, which is gonna be Dr. Ratio's go-to. As for his planar ornaments, the 2-piece Inert Salsado is good for increasing crit rate, ultimate, follow-up damage. Another alternative, Firmament Frontline, Glamoth, increases attack based on his speed. If you don't meet the requirements, then use the 2-piece Space Sealing Station to buff his attack. For his main and substats, try to stack as much crit damage, attack percent, and crit rate on him. He is going to be a DPS, so you need to maximize his damage output from his follow-up attacks. Since he's a hunt, he has some excellent light cones to choose from. If you want to build the best build for Dr. Ratio, you'll need to choose the right ones. Let's check out some of his top light cones. Baptism of Pure Thought, his signature light cone, increases the crit damage by 20% and additionally, for every debuff on the enemy target, increases 6% crit damage up to 3 stacks. When the character uses ultimate to attack an enemy, their damage increases by 36%, and their follow-up attacks ignore 20% of the target's defense, lasting for 2 turns. Worrisome Blissful Best, an alternative for him, increases crit rate by 18% and follow-up attack damage by 30%. When the target is attacked with a follow-up attack, they are marked with the Tame State 2 stacks. Allies hitting enemies with the Tame State will have a 12% crit damage increase for every Tame stack on the enemy. Cruising in the Stellar Sea, the best F2P option, flatly increases the crit rate by 8% and additionally increases the crit rate by 8% for every enemy with HP less than or equal to 50%. When the wearer defeats the enemy, their attack is increased by 20% for 2 turns. Swordplay might be good on him. For each time the wearer hits the same target, damage dealt increases by 8%, stacking up to 5 times. This effect will be dispelled when the wearer changes targets. The best Dr. Ratio teams will rely heavily on his high follow-up attack count, which grows as debuffs are applied to the enemy. Someone like Welt is a must-have, since he can dish out debuffs in a single turn. If you don't have Welt on your team, you can always switch out him for someone like Pella or Silverwolf. Also, if you're running Topaz, you'll be able to significantly boost Dr. Ratio's follow-up attack damage. That's it for the video. Hoyoverse has announced that they will be gifting Dr. Ratio in the upcoming 1.6 update for free. Additionally, it is not necessary to invest in his Eidolons as they are not worth much. In my opinion, Dr. Ratio's kit is highly effective, allowing him to begin inflicting high damage as long as he has a good debuff applier on his team. He is expected to be a powerful DPS character, and since there is no need to invest in him, his Stellar Jades will be saved for the next 2.0 banner. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.